Salve, mi chiamo Alice, ho appena finito la laurea breve all'Università di Cologne in Scandinavistica. I'm Alice and I've just completed my bachelor's degree at the University of Cologne in English Studies and Scandinavian Studies. The course was called Making Myths Visible. And basically what we did was we looked at how Northern mythology or figures from the Northern mythology were aestheticized from the 18th century until today. So what we would do basically was we would look at different literature, paintings, and try to see if we could identify concepts that we recognize to be from the Northern mythology, and then compared how these depictions of Northern mythology changed throughout the centuries until today. So this was the first ever course I took on Northern mythology. So besides having read excerpts of the Edda in other different courses, I didn't really have any knowledge of Northern mythology, and especially aesthetizations of Northern mythology, except what I had read and seen in, for example, the Marvel movies or books that I read. So it was really, really interesting to look or to compare how these different aesthetizations had changed throughout the centuries. That was not my expectation, but this was what I thought was really interesting about the course. So it was the course was very interesting and it was great fun. For me, partaking as a student from the University of Cologne, the sessions took place online. So typically I would log in an online classroom provided by the platform Moodle. And then the sessions always were based on a reading assignment that we had to complete for the lesson. This was usually contextualized at the beginning of the session, and then throughout the session, we looked closely at either the piece of art in question or the literature that we had prepared and tried to identify concepts that we would recognize from the Northern mythology. And then we would try to examine as a course in an open discussion, which was always really interesting, how this compared to other aesthetizations that we had previously discussed. The course was really interesting. I really liked the material that was used for the course, and I think it was very obvious that a lot of thought and a lot of work had gone into the preparation of the course. The material was really engaging. The discussions were really engaging that we had in the course. I liked how cooperative the course was and how many people really participated engagingly and gave inputs and shared their thoughts on the material and the sources that we looked at. I think what was really great to see in this course was that since part of the course was online, or part of the people participated online, and the other half of the people were actually sitting together in a classroom. So even though we had this sort of gap to bridge, that some people actually did meet in person and then other people could only participate online, it was really interesting to see that still, even though there was this sort of geographical hurdle, everybody actually had the opportunity to participate in the course and did participate in the course. So some people participated via the chat function of the platform. Other people participated by voicing comments and questions. I think the collaboration was great, and it was also great to see that hybrid concepts like these can actually work really well. What I think is the advantage of this intercultural collaboration is, and I think this was very great to see in the course, that it broadens the perspective on which we look at a topic. One example would be, it was very interesting to find out during the course that conceptions and aesthetizations of Northern mythology were used, for example, during war times, totally differently in France than in Germany. And so having these two perspectives, the course almost had a comparative element as well. And this French perspective is obviously one that we don't tend to think a lot about in a course that is taught by one German teacher. Yeah, so it was great to see how collaborations like these can actually broaden the lens on a topic. Yes, courses like these are an opportunity to establish contacts abroad, especially because at the end of the course, we met all the French or the Strasbourg participants of the course during a 2-day symposium here in Cologne, which was also very nice to meet the people that you had previously only seen online in person. So yes, definitely. I would say the best answer to this question is that they work exactly how this course worked out, because it was actually great, and the organization too. The symposium was actually very interesting. Organized over 2 days at the University of Cologne. During these 2 days, we had lectures, and then the highlight of the symposium was visiting the cathedral library, where we actually got to look at some very interesting medieval literature. Yes, definitely. What I thought was the most interesting part, not so much how Northern mythology is aestheticized today or just in singular um, periods only, but to see how it has changed during the ages, and that aesthetizations of Northern mythology throughout the centuries actually had special intentions. They could have been used for nationalistic purposes, war propaganda, and it was interesting to see how it has changed. And then obviously it's interesting to see how these concepts are employed today in popular culture. So yes, definitely the course has widened my view on aesthetizations of Northern mythology.